Good afternoon, everybody. 4 o'clock on November 1st, 2018. Back over to continue work on this door here. And you can see I've already done some work. Still quite a bit of hammer and dollying to do on her. So that'll be some of the object for the evening. The other object is to get some build primer on the boot lid. Last visit I got the 2 coats of epoxy on there. So I'll get the high build or the regular build primer on here. 4 coats, 3-4 coats, depending on how much I mix up. Get that covered up real well and then start blocking that out and see how that comes out. And that's really the only goal for tonight, is to concentrate on those 2 things. Also, you probably saw a advertisement roll at the beginning of the video. I got monetized finally to get over 1,000 subscribers. Took a couple weeks, but now it's official. So thanks for putting up with those advertisements. They will help out with the project overall, I'm sure. So with that, time to get to work. 3 coats of build primer on her. So now the next step will be to start block sanding it down after I let it dry. It dries for about an hour or so. So in that interim, I'm going to get working on the door. Alright, obviously got the door here, waiting on the boot lid to dry. And I'm going to focus on this crease right here. I showed you this in the last video, the big lightning bolt. Before I had scuffed up the epoxy, you could really see the light picking it up. And you could still see it. I did work it a little bit. It did come out a little bit. But I don't know, you know. That's going to be tricky in there to get a dolly in there and smack it around and everything. So I'm going to try to spoon, I'm going to try to hammer it from underneath and all that kind of stuff. And then I think I'll just work my way back. Again, back here you can just barely see my hand there, but back here that's in really bad shape back there. There's some spots that I think, much like the other door, especially up here, that I'm just going to have to suck it up and Bondo it. Use the body filler. I'm not going to be able to get any repairs in, but we'll see. Alright, so work this crease here. Pretty good. I'm happy with the way that came out. Now you can't really see the stuff in the light too much. I probably should wet it down or something so I can get the light shine back in there. But you can see where there's just a spot here now and a spot here, and the sandpaper is pretty much hitting most of the spots. Worked a little bit in here. These spots I'm not going to be able to get to because that's kind of behind the crease of the door. So there's nothing for me to get behind to be able to do that. I would have to, some magic way, you know, weld the stud on there and pull it out. I just don't feel I'm going to do that. This in here was where all that repairs were done. That's probably going to have to filler all over that. So now I'm kind of working my way down this way. This bottom panel is not too bad, but I got a couple good dings right here and a couple good crease shots right there. So I want to try to work those out. And again, I'm just using the slapping spoon to do all this with a dolly underneath and trying to get the angle right of whatever the panel is here. It's pretty flat, so that's kind of nice. Makes it a little easier. Just pushing up on the dolly underneath and slapping with the slapping spoon, trying to flatten those areas out. So I'm just going to keep working at that. So I'm going to try to compare that crease that I worked here based on the other picture that I showed you. I took a still from the last video. I'll throw that up again so you can look at that. And now I'm going to just use some water and wet this down, and we'll see what it looks like. See if I can get the light in there right. Alright, so it's a little bit after 6 o'clock. I'm ready to start blocking out the boot lid here. And I did not do that great of a job on prepping it for the high build primer. I keep saying high build primer, I mean regular build, so sorry about that. But I've got all sorts of scratch marks in here. You can see the imperfections in there. You can see that. So I definitely didn't, maybe I forgot where I really did leave it. And it wasn't ready for primer, build primer, but so I'll go down and I'll block it down anyway, and then see how that ends up and how bad it looks. So I may just, you know, try to build coats in here with this build primer and see if that hooks me up. But I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so much like the door, passenger's door the first time around, there's definitely spots on here that stayed rough. Around the hinges is pretty bad. Little low spots in there around the hinge where you would bolt the hinges up, I should say. And then there's a spot right in here a little bit, a couple other spots. And again, where the sandpaper's not touching it, I can feel it rough. But I took it down now out to 220. It's going to need another round of build primer, but I think after that it actually came out, a lot of the scratches and everything that I saw actually seemed to come out pretty good, better than I thought they were going to. So I think I'm pretty safe. I gotta look at this. If you can see that circle right there, I could see that through the build primer. I'm afraid that that's going to come through, but otherwise pretty happy with the way this came out. It's still a little bit wavy up here. I'm just not going to be able to get that out. I don't think I can add filler and hammer and dolly, all that stuff all day, and I'm just not going to get it, so I'm not too concerned about it. So I'm going to leave this for tonight. I'm not going to put the build primer on there for now. It's and I'm not concerned about a window thing now. I'll just clean it up before I shoot it again, and put another round of high build on there. But so I'm going to set this aside and get back working on the door. All right, 2 wet coats of epoxy. You can kind of see that one crease up there. I can't really get the light that well, but I'm happy with the way that came out. And then I think you can see all this damage in here. Hopefully the camera's focusing. That's where that body filler was and all that. But the epoxy went on pretty well. I think I've got that pretty much dialed in to minimize the cratering and everything. I got that the gun adjustments and everything set for that. You know, and at least until I don't. But that's going to be it for me for tonight. So again, thanks everybody for watching and liking, and of course thanks for subscribing. Otherwise, have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you guys all soon whenever I get back. Cheers.